Sebastian Coe's latest comments about two rising stars, Keely Hodgkinson and Gout Gout, are sending shockwaves across the athletics world. Just before the World Championships in Tokyo, Coe delivered both praise and caution, and fans everywhere are hyped about what it means for the future of the sport. Sebastian Coe knows the 800 meters better than almost anyone alive. He held the world record in the event for 18 years and has seen generations of athletes come and go. But when he speaks about Keely Hodgkinson, the reigning Olympic champion at just 23, his admiration is clear. She absolutely could end her career as one of the greatest athletes of all time, Coe said, just days before the World Championships in Tokyo. I've spoken to her enough times to know that mentally she's mahogany hard. She is absolutely committed to wanting to end her career at the top, and there's no reason why she shouldn't. Coe praised her coaches, Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows, for guiding her comeback after serious hamstring and back injuries. In August, Hodgkinson stunned the athletics world by returning after a 376-day absence and immediately running 1 minute 54 seconds in Silesia, followed by 1 minute 55 seconds in Lausanne only 4 days later. Coe summed it up simply: you have to marvel at how she has come back. To be out injured and then your first step back on the track, you're running 1 minute 54 seconds. He did, however, sound a note of caution. Returning from injury carries risks, and Coe noted how easy it is for athletes to push themselves beyond their true endurance. But Hodgkinson showed her resilience by racing twice in 4 days, proving she had the strength to handle the demands she will face in Tokyo. The answer was a resounding yes, Coe said. From one established star to one just beginning his journey, Coe also turned his attention to Australian sprint sensation Gout Gout. At just 17 years old, Gout has already run a wind-assisted 9.98 in the 100 meters and 19.84 in the 200 meters. His legal best of 20.02 places him among the top 20 sprinters in the world this season, despite being several years younger than most of his rivals. At 17, I was probably just about qualifying for the inner counties, Coe admitted with a laugh. He's an outstanding athlete. I was very privileged to have supper with him after the Diamond League in Monaco with his coach. A really, really good Australian coach. A female coach, Dee Shepherd too, which is always good. But Coe also emphasized that Gout's journey must be carefully managed. The biggest challenge is to take an athlete from his age through the next 3 or 4 years into the senior ranks safely, mentally in decent shape, and physically not badly damaged. He explained, "It's too early to expect medals. This will be a huge learning curve. Gout's rise has been meteoric. In 2024, he ran 20.04 to break the Oceanian record and Usain Bolt's under 16 world best. Earlier this year, at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet, he clocked 20.02, ranking 20th in the world in the 200 meters for 2025. His wind-assisted 19.84 at the Australian Championships would have placed him 8th globally if it were legal. What makes this even more impressive is that Gout is 3 years younger than anyone else in the world's top 20. Only 2 other athletes born in 2007 are in the top 100. Comparisons with Bolt are inevitable, and even Lightning himself has weighed in saying, "He looks like young me." The Australian media has embraced him as the future of sprinting. But is he truly ready to compete against the likes of Noah Lyles, Kenny Bednarek, and Brian Lavelle? Lyles' world lead of 19.63 is still nearly 4/10 faster than Gout's best. Bednarek, 19.67, and Lavelle, 19.69, are also comfortably ahead. That gap may make a podium finish unlikely, but experts believe Gout could reach the final in Tokyo. For a 17-year-old, that alone would be an extraordinary achievement. It isn't just Coe who has weighed in. Botswana's Letsila Tebogo, the reigning Olympic 200-meter champion, believes Gout has what it takes to make history. "He can be one of the best," Tebogo said. "He could be in the history books if he continues with the hunger that he has right now." But he also urged patience. Don't let him stay too much on the seniors, because everybody is watching. Slowly, but surely, he will get there. Former Australian champion Matt Shervington has gone even further, predicting, "He will be the greatest athlete we have ever produced in this country, hands down." Coe, for his part, echoed Tebogo's warning. "We have to be realistic. He said, "The vast majority of people who win World Junior titles don't go on to compete for their national team at senior level. This is a rare and precious talent that will need nurturing and protecting." One quality that may separate Gout from other young prodigies is his emotional intelligence. His coach, Di Shepherd, has highlighted his ability to stay composed under pressure. "You know yourself how hard that is as an adult, let alone as a kid," she said. He has a massive ability to be able to do that. That mental strength will be tested in Tokyo, where he'll face senior competition on a global stage for the first time. The weight of expectations from fans, media, and even legends like Bolt and Coe could be overwhelming. But Gout appears ready to handle it with maturity. History is filled with teenage sensations who lit up the track at a young age. Allyson Felix won the 200-meter world title at just 19 in 2005. Ariane Knighton, another teenage prodigy, competed in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics at 17, finishing fourth in the 200-meter final with a time of 19.93. More recently, Quincy Wilson became the USA's youngest ever male track Olympian at Paris 2024, earning a gold medal in the 4x400-meter relay heats. On the other hand, many teenage talents have needed more time to blossom. Even Usain Bolt, the ultimate benchmark, didn't win his first senior world medal until age 20, when he took silver in the 200 meters at the 2007 World Championships in Osaka. The message is clear. Prodigies can succeed early, but sometimes greatness takes patience. For Gout, time is on his side. With LA 2028 and Brisbane 2032 on the horizon, he has 2 Olympic cycles to develop fully. The Brisbane Games, in particular, could offer him a historic moment, competing for gold on home soil as a mature sprinter in his mid-20s. In the meantime, Tokyo will be a test. Coe and others have made it clear, no one should demand medals from Gout just yet. The real victory will be gaining experience, learning from mistakes, and understanding what it takes to compete against the very best. Sebastian Coe's comments about Keely Hodgkinson and Gout Gout reveal 2 sides of athletics. On one hand, Hodgkinson is already a proven champion with the mental strength and resilience to be remembered as one of the all-time greats. On the other, Gout is the exciting new talent whose future shines bright, but whose journey must be managed with care. Both athletes inspire in different ways. Hodgkinson, through her toughness and comeback from injury. Gout, through his precocious speed and composure beyond his years. And through it all, Coe's message is consistent. Talent alone is not enough. Smart growth, patience, and resilience are what turn potential into greatness. Whether it's Hodgkinson chasing history or Gout beginning his path, one thing is clear. The future of athletics is in strong hands, and with voices like Coe guiding the way, the sport has every chance of producing legends who will inspire generations to come.
From Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, as you would expect, Hobbs of New Zealand on the outside. Now comes the American Hobbs. Aaliyah Hobbs is right there. She goes through.
When you see a 38-year-old mother outrunning college athletes and Olympic champions, you might think it's some kind of magic trick. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is very real, and she's about to compete in her final race. The Jamaican sprinter known as the Pocket Rocket stands just 5 feet tall, but she's created one of the biggest legacies in track and field history. With 3 Olympic gold medals and 10 World Championship titles under her belt, Fraser-Pryce has been dominating the 100-meter dash for nearly 2 decades. Now, at an age when most sprinters have long since retired, she's preparing for one last hurrah at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. But this final chapter almost never happened. Last year's Paris Olympics were supposed to be her grand finale, her perfect goodbye to the sport that made her famous. Instead, it turned into her worst nightmare. On the day of the 100-meter final, Fraser-Pryce arrived at the stadium ready to race.
I don't really care for the opinions of others because I find that even when I had my son, when there were a lot of persons who thought that, having a baby and coming back was not going to be good, or turning 30 and then 35 and,
She'd been using the same entrance gate throughout the entire Olympics without any problems. But on the most important day of her games, security suddenly denied her entry. She wasn't alone. Other top sprinters, including America's Sha'Carri Richardson, faced the same issue. For 30 agonizing minutes, Fraser-Pryce stood outside the stadium arguing with officials. She watched as busloads of other athletes passed by, witnessing her humiliation. When she finally made it to the warm-up track, a full hour behind schedule, nothing felt right anymore. Sprinters are creatures of habit, and her routine had been completely destroyed. Fraser-Pryce later revealed what happened next changed everything. For the first time in her entire career, she had a panic attack. The woman who had overcome injuries, setbacks, and every challenge the sport could throw at her simply couldn't make it to the starting line. She withdrew from the semifinal, officially due to an injury sustained during warm-up, but the real damage was mental. Fraser-Pryce said this to reporters, "I didn't get the opportunity to do what I know I could have done in that moment, and it was hurtful. It was the first time in my entire career that I've never been able to step to a line to compete." That devastating experience in Paris could have been the end of her story, but Fraser-Pryce isn't built to quit on someone else's terms. She decided to delay her retirement by a year, giving herself one more chance to say goodbye properly. The journey back to competition started in the most unlikely place, her son's school sports day. When the school organized a parents' race, most people probably expected Fraser-Pryce to take it easy, maybe let some regular mom or dad have a moment of glory against a world champion. They were wrong. Fraser-Pryce absolutely destroyed the competition, beating every other parent by what observers called a veritable mile. Drone footage of the race shows just how dominant she was. When asked if she ever considered holding back, her response was classic. She said, "I would never do that. It's not in my DNA to do it. What amazes me is that they actually think they stood a chance." This competitive fire has been burning since she was a child growing up in Waterhouse, a working-class neighborhood in Kingston. Fraser-Pryce shared a bed with her two brothers and mother in a house that didn't even have an indoor toilet. Her first real memory of track and field came when she was watching Jamaica's relay team win gold at the 2004 Athens Olympics. She was sitting in her aunt's doorway, watching on borrowed cable TV, and when Jamaica crossed the finish line, she jumped so hard she hit the zinc fences around the tenement yard. That moment sparked something special. In 2007, as an uncertain teenager, Fraser-Pryce traveled to Osaka, Japan for her first senior world championships as a reserve for the relay team. She remembers being so unsure of who I was, very mediocre goals, just happy to be there. 1 year later, at the Beijing Olympics, she shocked the world. The 21-year-old with braces won the 100-meter gold medal, leading another Jamaican sweep. Her goal had been simply to make the final, but she walked away as Olympic champion. The 2012 London Olympics confirmed she wasn't a one-hit wonder. Fraser-Pryce successfully defended her title, officially joining the ranks of sprinting legends. But her story was just getting started. In 2017, everything changed again when her son Zion was born. Fraser-Pryce sat on her bed and cried when she learned she was pregnant, not from joy, but from fear. Friends were already congratulating her on what they assumed was the end of her career. The conventional wisdom said that motherhood meant retirement for female sprinters. Fraser-Pryce had other plans. "Everyone's entitled to their opinion," she said. "I knew how I felt, and I knew I wasn't ready to go. I had something left to do, and I stayed focused on the goal." 2 years later, she proved every doubter wrong by winning the 2019 World Championships in Doha. Standing on that podium as both world champion and mother, Fraser-Pryce knew she had achieved something bigger than personal success. She told this to World Athletics. "When I crossed that line, I knew it was a victory, not just for me, but for so many other women, for so many other mothers." She wasn't finished dismantling stereotypes. In 2022, at age 35, Fraser-Pryce won her 5th consecutive world 100-meter title in Oregon. This came after Jamaica's Elaine Thompson-Herah had dominated the Tokyo Olympics, seemingly passing the torch to a new generation. Fraser-Pryce's response was defiant. "So many people believe that when women turn 35, it somehow diminishes our gift, our talent. But I'm still able to line up and compete, and that is very special." Now 38 years old, Fraser-Pryce admits she's not running the same times she once did. Her personal best of 10.60 seconds makes her the third fastest woman in history, but this season she's been running closer to 11 seconds. At the recent Brussels Diamond League meet, she finished fourth in 11.17 seconds, behind rising stars like Melissa Jefferson Wooden and world champion Sha'Carri Richardson. But speed isn't everything for Fraser-Pryce anymore. Her perspective has evolved dramatically over the years. 4 or 5 years ago, I would never tell anybody that the fact I showed up to do another championships is a win, she admitted on the Marie Claire podcast. Now, just making the team feels like an achievement worth celebrating. The decision to retire wasn't difficult, Fraser-Pryce explains. After giving track and field so many years, she wants to give those years to her family instead. Her 8-year-old son Zion is a lot more aware, so independent. Asks me so many questions, wants me to be everywhere. She credits her husband with pushing her to compete one more season, joking that he was like, "We're doing another year." So kudos to him for that. But don't mistake this shift in perspective for a lack of competitive fire. Fraser-Pryce still trains with the intensity of someone half her age. I'm still very passionate, and competing at a high level, it is no secret that you have to be disciplined. You have to work hard, she said. I still enjoy what I do. There's still a level of excitement because I still want to see what's possible. That excitement extends to racing against the new generation of sprinters. Jefferson Wooden, who ran 10.65 seconds this season for the world lead, represents exactly the kind of challenge Fraser-Pryce thrives on. It's always great when you race athletes that are at a high level. It forces you to do the right thing, and it also forces you to make sure that you're competing at the highest level. Great Britain's Dinah Asher-Smith, who has shared the podium with Fraser-Pryce multiple times, can barely contain her admiration. I love Shelly. I've known that woman for a while, Asher-Smith told Olympics.com. She pops out at 10.7, 10.6. It made me so happy. Hand on heart, I love it for her. Asher-Smith perfectly captures what makes Fraser-Pryce special. It's not just the medals or the records. It's the way she's inspired an entire generation of female athletes to believe in themselves. The 2025 Tokyo World Championships represent the perfect full-circle moment for Fraser-Pryce. Her senior career began in Japan back in 2007 at the Osaka World Championships, where she traveled as a nervous relay reserve.
Moving away from him, Morizzi in the headband. A battle between these two, and Gout working so hard to get to him, and he gets there. Gout takes it by meter.
This 17-year-old kid from Australia just became the fastest teenager on the planet, and now he's about to face the world's best sprinters for the first time. While most high school seniors are worried about prom and graduation, Gout Gout is skipping class to compete at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Let's back up for a second. If you haven't heard of Gout Gout yet, you're about to. This kid isn't just fast, he's rewriting the record books while juggling homework and exams. Born to Sudanese parents who moved to Australia in 2005, Gout has become the most exciting thing to happen to Australian track and field in decades. Just a few months ago in the Czech Republic, Gout lined up for his first senior race outside Australia at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet. He was competing against grown men who trained full-time while he was still attending Ipswich Grammar School. The gun went off, and Gout found himself trailing Cuba's Rainier Mena as they entered the home straight. Then something special happened. Gout unleashed a burst of speed that left everyone watching in shock. He flew past Mena and crossed the line in 20.02 seconds, breaking his own Australian record by 0.02 of a second. After the race, with reporters surrounding him, Gout kept it simple. "I feel good. New personal best, new national record in my first European race," he told them with the calm confidence of someone twice his age. But here's what makes this even more incredible. That 20.02 wasn't just a personal best. It was faster than Usain Bolt ran when he first raced at that same meet back in 2006. Bolt clocked 20.28 seconds, and we all know what happened next. 3 Olympic golds in the 200 meters and a world record that still stands today. The comparisons to Bolt aren't just about times. Watch Gout run and you'll see the same tall frame, the same smooth stride, the same way he seems to glide over the track. Even their career paths are eerily similar.